but instead of being captured by the station's robotic arm for installation to the Harmony module, will automatically dock to the complex's international docking adapters. The next generation of HTV cargo craft will be launched on the Japanese Space Agency's new H-3 rocket. The countdown is proceeding without a problem at Tanegashima for a launch at exactly 12:31 p.m. Central Time, which will be 2:31 a.m. Japan time on Thursday. The H-2B rocket employs an instant launch window. At the time of launch, the International Space Station and its three-man crew will be passed. That will carry, amongst other things, the final set of new lithium-ion batteries for the upgrades to the International Space Station's power system, an endeavor that began in January of 2017 and which will be completed in the months ahead to upgrade the station's power systems for its solar arrays and all of its various systems and payloads. This view, a closer view of the H-2B rocket, you see the vehicle bathed in blue light. This in honor of healthcare workers fighting on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic, and in honor of all of the workers at the Tanegashima Space Center in southern Japan who have worked through the pandemic to prepare the vehicle for launch. So a tribute from JAXA, the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency, and Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, responsible for the launch vehicle. This blue light bathing the H-2B rocket in honor of healthcare workers fighting on the front lines of the current coronavirus pandemic. T-minus 5 minutes and counting. No issues reported. The vehicle fully fueled, ready to begin its flight.
The satellite systems are go. This is a live launch video of the 9th H-2B launch vehicle from the Cassidy range control center, the JAXA Tanegashima Space Center.
The Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency personnel in Tanegashima reporting launch status. Everything is green as we approach the 3.5 minute mark until flight. Running through the checklist at the 2 minute 48 second mark until liftoff. Everything continues to proceed on track. Again, this is about a 15.5-minute flight from liftoff until the time that the HTV9 spacecraft separates from the second stage of the H-2B rocket. A good close-up view of the three of the four solid rocket boosters that surround the first stage of the H-2B, the launch vehicle managed by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. T-minus 2 minutes and counting. Launch pad floodlights creating a luminescent effect on the H-2B rocket as it prepares to begin its journey to send the final H-2B cargo craft to the International Space Station.
Initialization complete of the liquid oxygen system of the first stage.
90 seconds until launch.
Followed by the pressurization of liquid oxygen and hydrogen system of the second stage, and therein deployment.
1 minute until launch, everything in good shape. T-minus 44 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds and counting. T-minus 14 seconds and counting, standing by for engine ignition. We have engine start.
Activating thermal batteries.
And we have liftoff. A rising sun over the land of the rising sun as JAXA's H-2B rocket and the HTV9 cargo craft take flight. Roll, pitch, and yaw program in effect. The H-2B rocket takes flight to the International Space Station. Liftoff occurring right on the dot at 12:31 p.m. even Central Time, 2:31 a.m. Japan time. 44 seconds into the flight. Just passing 1 minute into the flight, everything continuing to look good. Four solid rocket boosters, 2 liquid fuel engines propelling the HTV9 towards its preliminary orbit, coming up on the 1 minute 30-second mark into the flight. Coming up on the 2-minute mark into the flight, coming up on solid rocket booster shutdown and separation. And we have solid rocket booster jettison. 2.5 minutes into the flight, first stage engines are continuing to fire, as they will until about the 5-minute 46-second mark into the flight, at which point those engines will shut down, the first stage will separate. Three minutes, 10 seconds into the flight, everything proceeding normally. The first stage continues to burn in excellent shape. All good reports coming in from the Range Control Center at Tanegashima. Coming up on the 4-minute mark into the flight. About 2 minutes to go in first stage performance. The H-IIB rocket is operating in normal fashion. Four and a half minutes into the flight, which has been flawless so far. Everything proceeding well. Good first stage performance. The solid rocket boosters that separated just over 2 minutes into the flight did their job in augmenting the dual first stage engines on the H-IIB rocket. This is the final flight of the H-IIB to be replaced with the new H-3 rocket that JAXA will be employing for its new genre of cargo craft called the HTV-X that is scheduled to launch about 2 years from now. 5 minutes, 5 seconds into the flight.